Pop Culture with Pat. Here with Sasha Luss talking about our upcoming film, Latency. Great to meet you, Sasha, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well. So to kind of start things off, the concept of this film I thought was really interesting. So what was your initial reaction when you first got a chance to read the script? And then just what were you most excited about getting to, play this character and step into this world?
Well, I love the script. I thought it was really interesting and original, which is quite valuable. And I just like the character. I like the idea of kind of stepping into her shoes and just understanding her for a second, like for a brief moment while we were filming it. Because I never met anyone with agoraphobia, and I can only imagine what it must feel like. But it was quite challenging as an actor, to go through this sort of cinematic version of it.
Yeah.
So the first thing was like, wow, the script is great. Second, wow, it's a really interesting character. And and boy, she was. She was a really interesting character for sure, an intense one, but interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, you play Hannah, who's, a gamer. We're talking about she has agoraphobia. What kind of prep did you do to play the character and explore those different elements of her?
I called my dad's friend, who's a psychiatrist, and she works with people with agoraphobia. And she walked me through what these people experience, how it starts, what triggers this, what they actually feel when they are about to open the door and step out, or when they're, surrounded by people, because agoraphobia has different forms of it, like one of the severe ones is not being able to leave your home, but it has different versions. And there is like a moment when in the movie when Hannah, we see that she has like sort of a pendant with a pill inside. And not my my dad's friend, the psychiatrist, gave me this idea because she said she had one of her patients who came up with like keeping the pill really close. So in case if she starts to have a panic attack, she has it, so she can just take it and calm herself down, because it's terrifying what people experience. So I was like, oh, that's an interesting moment for Hannah, just having it next to, close to, it's like your safety blanket or something. So it was really, wow, like agoraphobia is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
And
Were you, and now I have to ask her, were you do you consider yourself a gamer at all, or is that kind of a completely new world to you as well? Or
it was a really new world. I had my brief moment when I discovered Assassin's Creed, and I fell in love with it and spent 2 weeks just on my couch doing this. And I remember how my fingers were hurting because I was pressing buttons for too much, or like button masher or something. But then I came back to actual real life and had to go for work, and then it kind of died. But when I was prepping for Latency, I actually had to watch a lot of YouTube videos. I spoke to a lot of my friends who are gamers and got a glimpse of this world, which is extremely exciting. And actually, wow, like pros are pros. Watching like the tournaments and how excited people are. It was quite, there is like a girl on YouTube that train herself. She does this like videos when she trained like to be a firefighter and something, and then she tried to win a tournament, and she was like, the moment she was like, oh my god, this is so hard. And it is.
yeah, that's like, especially the people out there. I mean, there's people that's their job. They're just professional, gamers, and it's just crazy the way that technology has evolved over the years for the gaming industry as well. I mean, we get to kind of see something that happens in this film is like really not too far off with like the virtual reality goggles and
Yeah.
stuff like that we get to see. So Alexis Ren, she plays your best friend Jen in the film. Can you just talk about how you guys developed that chemistry that we see on screen between those characters, and what are just some of your favorite memories of working with her on the film?
I wanted to call Alexis Jan. Alexis is incredibly dedicated and wonderful, and just was an absolute blast to work with. Because, like when you act and when you're this character, you work on a reaction. So it's an interaction, but she says something and I react to it. And she was so easy and fun and just professional, which is really great. Because sometimes you're not so lucky and you work with someone who doesn't remember their lines or probably didn't even learn them to start with. And here it was just perfect. And one of my favorite moments where she's actually a professional dancer, and there was like a moment where we had to dance,
Yep.
and I was like, "There's no way Hannah, my character, danced well." Because she like, or she just stayed at home, So probably she developed some weird moves when she's just in the shower, like dancing. So I tried to dance as awkward as I could possibly do, and Alexis was like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "This is that takes skill to be this bad." And I was like,
That's great. And James, so he makes his directorial feature debut in the film. What makes him stand out as a director, to you? And then just what did you learn from working with him on this film?
and well, I used it to describe Alexis, but I think it's just one of the qualities that I really cherish. It's dedication. Like he's an incredibly thoughtful, dedicated director who's there. Like there was like a moment where when something on a wall was not the right, but like you couldn't even see it. I was looking at him like, "What are you pointing at?" He's like, "No, it's not right. It's not the right shade." And it's like a piece like this, like, and he's like, "No, it has to be different color." And these things matter because everything that you see has to be has to put you in this like kind of movie world in this cinematic reality. So this dedication, like by being there, like we would sit down every day, walk through every scene. He would give me his notes. I would tell him my ideas, the way that he would actually be really open to my ideas or Alexis. And it was such pleasure to work with someone who is so 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 in love with his project and in love with this and like with this cinematic world. And because I love it so much, so I felt like we just kind of like clicked.
And it's always important to have that, someone that's, open to being collaborative, like that, especially, director
Absolutely.
makes things a lot easier for everyone involved.
And sometimes he would be like, "Nope, that I don't think this is working, but how about that?" And it was absolutely beautiful. And I saw his one of his short films that was so good, and I was like, "Wow, like this guy is really great. Like he's very very special." So I hope that after Latency, we're gonna see a lot of James movies.
He'll be someone to look out to for sure. And so I'm curious, playing a character like in this, this film, dealing with technology and the effects that, it can have on people. Did has this caused you to look at technology in a different way after playing this character? Like, do you look at VR headsets or things like that and just like, maybe I won't play that or I won't, use this or something like that?
I'm actually kind of terrified of AI. And I don't even have face recognition on my phone, which is kind of, I think, stupid in our reality because if I mean, you can't really protect yourself by not using it. But I had a really interesting moment, and my friend, we're not related, we're not twins. She's just a friend of mine. We looked quite similar. I could open her iPhone, with my face, which I was like, "This is scary." I don't. It
Yeah.
happened years ago, like when probably face recognition was just developed and introduced. But still, I was like, and the whole AI, I think it's beautiful where humanity took us, like this genius people that could develop such technology. But I also understand why there are so many discussions and controversial kind of discussions because you never know. Because I feel like now we are, let's say, the smartest, but if AI gets to the point where AI is the smartest,
Yep.
what can happen? But also, I'm a bit like I think I'm just scared of it. So I'm sure
Yeah.
everything is going to be right.
I'm
And
right there.
mm,
Oh, I was just to say I'm right there with you as far as just being a little, wary of AI as well. So I completely understand, where you're coming from on there. There's been so many movies already up to this point where it's like warning us what happens when you kind of use technology too much. So I totally understand where you're coming from, Sasha.
like the Terminator was based on a book. I unfortunately forgot the name of the writer,
Yep.
But that book terrified the bejesus out of me because there are only like 10 people in the world. It's like a story, I think. There are 10 people in the world, and AI is so bored, and and the AI is, I don't know if it's whatever the gender is playing with people just because that's the only thing it has nowadays,
Yep.
and I was so scared, and I read it when I was a kid. So I am a bit concerned, but I also know that AI can do beautiful things, because,
Yeah.
and I needed to translate the script from French to English, and I could do it in 5 minutes, an entire script.
Yeah. It
And
definitely has its uses.
but also, there's so many people that lost their job because of AI.
Yeah.
So
Has its positives and negatives for sure. But Sasha, I just want to say thank you so much for for giving me your time today to talk about the film. I had a great time watching. I can't wait for everyone else to check it out. And again, it was great meeting you as well.
thank you so much.